Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Moments with Me, the show where I talk about my personal experiences and my life stories. All right, everyone, welcome back for another great episode. And this one's actually going to be a little bit more of a personal episode this time around. And I kind of want to, and I'll explain why I decided to pick this particular topic to talk about. But first, before I go into any of that, I have to say, I hope you guys had an awesome Thanksgiving. I hope you guys got to spend time with your families, eat good food, all that stuff. And like I said in the last episode, which make sure you go and listen to that if you haven't already. Also, being thankful for the ones around you, but also for the small wins and small things in life. And just overall, had a great time on Thanksgiving. I hope that you guys all got to do that. And for me, I had a great time. My big downsides, though, were unfortunately I did see the Kansas City Chiefs lose, and I know a lot of people are happy about that. And if you are, then good for you. But for me, that was a big bummer. But regardless, it was still an honor to see the Kansas City Chiefs play on Thanksgiving. It was really cool to experience that and root for a team on Thanksgiving. Now, with all that being said, let's go into today's topic, which is being yourself. Now, this might seem like an obvious topic. It might seem like, really? Of course you gotta be yourself. Come on. I've seen so many things now and read so many things now that say be yourself. I know, Dylan. What can you really add to it? Well, I guess for me, I was kind of reminded recently about it. Um, about being yourself and not letting others get to you. And I'll kind of go way back and I'll talk a little bit about why I wanted to talk about this today. So a while ago, when I was a little kid, I freely had a wild imagination. I had an interesting sense of humor. I expressed that openly, and I had, I was pretty good with everybody. I was like pretty shy, but I still could openly open up to people. But over time, I kind of realized how people actually reacted to me or how they, like what they thought of me. And, and it hurt. I had lots of people saying things like, I have like mental issues or, autistic or, all those things. And, it hurt. There's no other way to put it. It hurt. Um, and it was really hard for me to trust people to make friends for a while because at the time, I thought that a lot of people were good in this world, which is true. It is true that there's a lot of good people in the world, but I think because there were so many people that I trusted that weren't as good of people as I thought they were, I think it really broke my trust with people because I was so trusting and so like I believed that everybody was good, and I didn't realize that people thought those things about me, and it hurt. It did. And I would say in high school was when I had really closed myself off to people. The first 2 years of high school was kind of when I closed off to people. Like my friend group was a lot smaller this time around. Like I had maybe like 3, 4 friends maybe at most. I didn't trust too many people. I was very to myself. I just kind of preferred it that way at the time because I didn't want to get hurt again. I didn't want to get hurt again, and I just didn't want to risk that happening. I did end up switching over to Palo for my last 2 years of high school, and I was kind of starting off the same way where I was very to myself and wanting to keep to myself. But then I decided to join theater. And this was after I actually took an animation class and I just was not a fan of the instructor. And I had asked my counselor about switching classes and I was able to do it. And I switched to theater and it ended up being the best choice I had made in high school because I had gotten along with a lot more people, and it did teach me a good lesson of being yourself and like not caring what others think of you, not giving in to those thoughts. Like it's it's hard. It's hard, especially when you go almost your whole life with people judging you or like making you think that you have to do things or say things or whatever it may be. It's hard. I know I say it's hard a lot, but it really is. This is a hard topic for me to talk about, to be honest, because it did really have an effect on me for a while. And I if you are going through this or if you have gone through this, I'm sorry, because it's it is terrible. It's terrible to have people make assumptions about you or make judgments about you or say mean things to you or like again like whether it's to your face, behind your back, online, whatever it may be. It's hate is not okay regardless. So I'm very sorry if you had to go through that. And now, even though I did express myself more, I did express my sense of humor again. I did, like maybe not trust so many people, but like I became a little more trusting than I used to be. And then then I over time, with like work and relationships and different things that had happened, um, I had people take advantage of me. I've had people, say things to me. I've had different things, different things, and I think it kind of made me realize that I was going through the same thing again, where but in a different way, because I realized that I was kind of people pleasing, people pleasing and kind of being the person that I thought a lot of people would like me to be rather than who I am. And I think it's also something that I'm trying to currently work on is trying to be myself and not letting people take advantage of me because I think when you're a kid, you almost kind of build that people pleasing mechanism into your brain. But when you're older, you have to almost unlearn those things. You have to try to become more independent and more thinking for yourself. And that's what I'm in the process of doing. And I've told a few people this, but and I don't want to like pat myself on the back or anything, but I think I have matured a lot in between like now and maybe even just like last year. Like just in between that time. But if you want to really go far back, I would say now and a couple of years ago, I feel like I've changed quite a bit. I've been a lot more calm, but I've also learned to like like sit with thoughts and like kind of processing like, well, like was this right? Was this wrong? Was I in the right? Was I in the wrong? I got to think a lot about different things, and the reason why I bring this up is because of the whole be yourself topic, because I want, I guess the main lesson that I want you to take away from this podcast is yes, be yourself. Openly be yourself. Like, don't let people push you around. Don't let people say things to you. And the reason why I brought it up for this episode was because recently with Thanksgiving, and that's also why I wanted to recap on that. But recently with Thanksgiving, I I was wearing a turkey hat because if anyone knows me, I love being festive. I love doing festive things, and I have a turkey hat and even a Thanksgiving shirt. So I like to wear those every year. Um, so I wore that in my Chiefs jersey, but I won't say who for for obvious reasons. I want to keep it anonymous, but I will say there was a certain person that didn't like the turkey hat that I was wearing. So much so that they were not willing to give me a hug, really not wanting to talk to me unless it was about the hat itself. It got to the point where they didn't want to take the family photo because I was wearing a turkey hat, which is so ridiculous. No one else had a problem with that turkey hat except for them. And it was really I was frustrated. I was frustrated and upset. And not just because I love wearing that hat every year, but it's also because, well, they didn't want to be in the photo. They refused to take the photo and now they're not in the picture at the gathering that they were at. And And again, I know it seems silly because it is a turkey hat, but in a way, I think it also made me feel like I can't be myself. I can't express myself, and like how I like to be festive, and and that hurt. And it was kind of like a reminder of the past that I can't do those things that I like to do, and just and then it kind of like I feel like I've changed because like the old me would have would have taken that hat off, I'm sure, but me now, I'm like, no, I'm wearing this hat. Like this is like I love this hat. It's festive, it's fun, I enjoy it, and I'm not going to back down just because one person doesn't like it. It's ridiculous. So while it did hurt for sure, and I'm still upset with that person right now, unfortunately. However, I do like that it reminded me of how strong I've become. That I'm not willing to step down for anybody. That I'm willing to be myself regardless. Like if you don't like me, then that's that. That's it. So it really did go to show just how far I've come in my journey, and I'm like it I don't want to like take pride in something, but that is something that I can take pride in because I'm really proud of myself for being able to um not only stand up and say, hey, this is what I want to do, this is how I am, but yeah, it's something that I can be proud of myself for. I guess the finale or the in conclusion or the takeaway from this episode is, well, as the title says, be yourself. Be yourself regardless, because the right people will love you for who you are no matter what. And again, if you are going through this, if you are feeling this, if you are going through a similar experience, then I'm really sorry if you are. Just know that you're not alone. It's Things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better in time. But just make sure you always stand up for yourself and what you believe in. Well, guys, I'm sorry if this episode was a little longer or disorganized, but I will say that I am really tired for one. I didn't really get the best sleep for the past couple days, but also it is a much more personal episode to me. So I had to really take time and think about these things because it affected me as a kid. It still affects me now with the stuff that I had gone through, um, and I wanted to put this out there. Um, so again, for anyone that can relate to it or understands, then just to know that you're not alone, and that um, yeah, and just a reminder to keep being you, keep going, keep striving to you know keep kicking A, man, keep kicking A. And I think that just about does it for this episode. So thank you all so much for listening to this episode. I'm sorry that this one was a little more personal than the other ones, but make sure you guys like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what you think of this episode. And I will, as always, see you guys next time.